Uh, you give Toronto a lot of credit. They came out and they kind of hit us in the mouth to start the game. They're extremely physical and on both ends of the floor, really pressuring the ball and getting up in the passing lanes, trying to make it difficult for us offensively. And, we kind of stuck in mud a little bit on that end of the floor. And Jaylen did what he was supposed to do. He bailed us out offensively in that first quarter. And so, we were able to score with them or keep it close because Jaylen had a big first quarter, which he obviously is more than capable of doing. That's just who he is when you're talking about, an MVP candidate of the league. And then, after that first quarter, everybody on our team just started getting aggressive. We just said, forget what we're supposed to be doing offensively. If they get up in you, just attack, drive. If you can finish, go ahead and finish. If you draw a two, go ahead and kick it. And, if we could set up a high brush screen and look to attack their pressure, let's do that as well. And so our guys were all really good with that the rest of the game. Anytime they tried to get up and pressure us and or double team the ball, we were really patient, methodical, and we made pretty good decisions with the basketball when we got to the rim or when we faced a double team. So, they're very aggressive defensively with a lot of pressure. So our guys handled it, I thought, well the rest of the game. That second quarter, we were really good defensively. To hold a team like that to 13 points in a quarter, that was the difference of the ball game. I thought in the second half, getting back in transition and them scoring only 8 fast break points when they lead the league in that category was huge for us. And then, a lot of different great individual performances. We needed every single offensive rebound that we could get. And, scoring 25 points off of 14 offensive rebounds was huge with Mitch and Kat coming up with a combined 9. But at the end of the day, continuing to find ways to get stops against this team because they're just so good in transition and trying to spread you out. It was awesome to see. OG was our defensive player of the game. He had a monster game, switching back and forth between Josh and Mikhail guarding Barnes and Ingram. Great game by all three of our guys defensively against those two guys.
Like that second quarter, you mentioned it defensively. It felt like one of the best 6-minute stretches this group has put together. Yeah. What did you see it, from my point of view, look like just guys swarming, suffocating, just everybody kind of on a string there?
No, 100%. We were definitely on a string. And every time the ball moved, all 5 guys moved. All 5 guys were in sync. We had a couple of what we call rear view challenges. Those guys are great scorers, and when guys get to their spots, if we're in our shifts, which our guys were tonight, you can help bother and or block some of those shots from behind. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job in their shifts and creating some opportunities to get a rear view challenge. But more importantly, we ended it with a defensive rebound, and we were able to get out and go the other way on them.
How much does Josh's shooting at this level just unlock not just his game, but just what this offense can do and how teams have to guard him eventually?
Yeah, I tell you, it's interesting, to continue to see teams put their 5 on him. I think he's shooting close to 40% from the 3, if not that. I don't know exactly, but they keep going in and people keep leaving them open because they're trying to put their 5s on them, and maybe down the road they might think that he can shoot a little bit, but he works really hard at it, and so it's no surprise to us that he's shooting it as well as he is because 5 is not used to guarding a guy out on the perimeter. 5 wants to go help, and when we create paint touches with ball reversals, it's natural for a 5 to start drifting towards that rim, and our guys are doing a good job of finding him with sprays, and he's knocking them down.
I think you guys right out of halftime had a couple plays where it just swung to everybody and to Josh for consecutive 3s.
Yeah, no, again, our whole thing is obviously his pace. We're in a full court, in the front court. Then we want to space the floor the right way, ball reversals and paint touches, and that's all we started doing. We just like usually the plays don't get you the shot. You run an action to start the dominoes to fall. And we want to be really aggressive with whatever action we run. And our guys they were aggressive to start the action, which created their defenses doing that, because that's what most good defensive teams do. And then again, if you're a center and you're guarding Josh, who's on the perimeter, if you continue to keep the game simple and make the right play, that ball has a lot of energy. It's going to find the open guy.
Coaches, you won 8 out of 9, and it seems to have coincided with Josh going in the starting lineup. I'm sure that you have a sort of baseline knowledge about guys before you start coaching them, but what have you learned about a guy like Josh, who kind of has like an unconventional physical profile, style of play, everything else?
I tell you what, he reminds me of Andre Iguodala, from the sense that if you don't really understand basketball, then it's hard to really appreciate their game. And both those guys. Sometimes you look at him and you might be like, well, he's not really this, he's not that, he can't do this again. It's the opposite. They can do everything. Josh can do everything. There's just some things that he does that are elite, and some things that he does pretty good. That's what Josh is. He does everything that you want him to do, not only offensively but defensively too. Guarding 1 through 5 and so on and so forth. Same offensively. Some of the things he does elite at an elite level, and some of the things he does at a pretty good level. And when you have a player with an IQ of Andre or Josh, man, good things can happen for your whole team, and it makes your job easier as a head coach.
You talked about Jaylen bailing you out early.
Yeah.
Did you like when they started sending to it, and you like the way he got off the ball? And
100%. He was really patient with it. He played off of 2 feet. He made on target passes. He was fantastic when they started sending 2 at him, whether it was to hit him, excuse me, or it was to blitz him in a pick and roll. But I also have to give the guy that went to the middle of the floor, and the rest of the guys that spaced the floor the right way, I got to give them a lot of credit too, because they helped Jaylen make his decisions easier.
Coaches often speak of teams finding their identity, whether it's Josh in the lineup or just the way you guys have been rolling the last few weeks. Do you feel like this team has found its identity, and if so, what would you say it is?
Yeah, we're starting to figure out who we are. I've said this before. Early in the season, we had a lot of injuries during the preseason, so I didn't have a good feel for this team, or as good a feel as I needed to have, and that's part of the reason why we struggled on the road. It's a lot of the reason why we struggled on the road to a certain degree. And then once I started getting comfortable, it helped the group get more comfortable. We still, I know it sounds crazy, but we still have a lot of room to grow on both sides of the floor. We could be an extremely high-level defensive team. Like 2 of our top defenders in Landry and Deuce are out, and they're phenomenal on the ball, and they bring a level of physicality on the ball that not many guys around the league can bring. But we can be a phenomenal defensive team, and then with the weapons and skill set that we have offensively, we can be a phenomenal offensive team as well. So, I don't think it'll just be one side of the ball. I think we have a chance to be a high-level team on both sides, and it'll be interesting when we get there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.